hanging, everybody? Welcome to General Hospital MV, my GH After show. Before I get started, I want to say a big happy belated birthday to General Hospital itself. It's been on for 54 years as of April 1st, and that is not an April Fool's joke. Here's to 54 more. It was an interesting week in the Chuckles. I think, well, first of all, we had Ava and Lucy. As you might have known, Lucy has had Morgan's pills. She's been holding them over Ava, and Scott tried to get them from her once again. Lucy, however, had every intention of going to Sunny and Carly, telling them what she believes is true, that Ava and Morgan picked up their relationship again. Lucy doesn't know that Ava was actually switching pills around and making him eat placebos. But regardless, it would have put a target on Ava's back. Ava actually managed to intervene, and she had every intention of paying off Lucy so that she didn't spill the beans to Sunny and Carly. Unfortunately for her, a random hostage crisis occurred at the Floating Rib where they were going to make their trade-off. I'm not quite sure why robbers would go into a bar to rob people, but that's what happened. And those pills were amongst those things that they stole. Jordan actually showed up at the Floating Rib and saved the day. Unfortunately for Ava, all the things that the robbers stole, including those pills, ended up going back to the PCPD. In other words, shit's about to hit the fan. During that hostage crisis though, Olivia and Ned were together. Ned was gonna try and propose again, but you know, the hostage crisis happened. He was gonna give Olivia Lila's ring, but of course the robbers did see it, and Olivia nearly got herself killed just to try and keep the thing. After the hostage situation was over, Olivia finally agreed to marry Ned. They may not be on screen much, but I think they're adorable. Meanwhile, Ned's mother Tracy is on her own little mission, trying to figure out if Larry Ashton is conning her. Basically, there was this priceless painting that Edward Quartermain himself tried to get under the alias of Jimmy Lee Holt, one of Edward's many illegitimate children, but it's also an alias he uses, I guess. Tracy is now on a mission to track it down, and she coerced Laura into going on the trip with her. I gotta say, I'm super happy about this. I actually really love Laura and Tracy's relationship, so making Jeannie Francis a part of Jane Elliott's exit story is a go for me. In a possible spoiler alert, it appears that Tony Geary, aka Luke Spencer, is back on the GH set. Whether or not it's just to, you know, bid farewell to her off-screen or on-screen is yet to be seen, but I feel like Tony loves Jane enough that he'll probably go on screen and kind of walk her off. There are a lot of mixed reactions about Luke and Tracy walking off into the sunset together. I actually really loved Luke and Tracy, so I don't mind it personally, but I do get where the naysayers are coming from. But yeah, I'm excited for it. Elsewhere in Port Charles, Valentin Cassadine finally caves and tells us what Anna did to him so long ago. It's a bit of a complicated story, but long story short, Anna supposedly slept with him to get information that she was going to bring over to the enemy. Basically framed Valentin for it, which inevitably put him on a kill list. Anna is certain that she didn't do this, but she does have a feeling she knows who may have a role in this. A lot of people are speculating, including myself, that it might be Anna's twin sister, Alex. So Alex was a character that was never on General Hospital. She was actually on All My Children. Anna Devane herself actually crossed over onto the show. Anna Devane on GH actually died and was dead for 10 years. But when Finola Hughes joined the cast of All My Children, they decided to bring Anna back and make the character Alex Anna's twin sister. So you guys already know how I feel about crossovers on soaps. On one end, if you didn't watch All My Children, you're probably not going to know that Anna had a twin sister. I never personally watched All My Children either, but you know, I did actually read somewhere that Anna did have a twin sister, Alex, on the show, and that Anna did cross over. I had seen clips of Anna and Robin reuniting on All My Children, and her reuniting with Mac on there as well. But once I started to think that Alex might be on the show, I did some research, and actually Anna's whole All My Children oncoming storyline is on YouTube to see. Very easy to find. It's all in a playlist. You guys should check it out if you haven't. It's really bizarre, and I think, to be honest, horribly written, but it is part of the character's history, and you know, since this is a possibility that we're gonna see her, you might as well get to know the character a little bit. If Alex actually does come onto the show, I don't think it's gonna be for very long anyway, because it's probably hard for an actor to play dual roles on a show. It's also hard for the editors to deal with. They're putting on shows every week of the year, so you know, ain't nobody got time for that. But, you know, 1 or 2 episodes kind of explaining, or possibly explaining, if she had anything to do with it might be cool. It's an interesting twist that I didn't think the show would take. I knew that once the Prospect Park lawsuit got lifted that we could possibly see characters from All My Children, but honestly, I didn't really expect Alex to come in the mix for some reason, even though I knew about her, and I know that Anna has characters that she was tied to on the show as well. And they have been mentioning some of her history from All My Children on the show recently, not too much of it. But Anna was pregnant with a child on that show, and she did lose the child. Stubbornly, I kind of thought that if Frank Valentini was bringing any characters from other soaps, it would always be One Life to Live, because even before the lawsuit, he didn't bring any All My Children characters on before. So, you know, that's my bad, but that's how I felt. So we'll see what happens. As for everything else that happened on the show this week, none of it really caught my interest. Although seeing Lulu actually act smart and kind of worm her way into Nelle's circle, I kind of shook my head in approval, because this is the first time Lulu's actually acted kind of smart in this situation. But like Laura warned her, Valentin isn't stupid either, and he's on Nelle's case about Lulu already. So it's all going to depend on how careful she is at this point. The whole Jake's missing years is in effect. I think because I waited literally over a year for this storyline to happen, I don't really care. And even when they brought Jake back, I wasn't super happy about it. Not because I didn't, like, it's a child, like, I don't care. But because there wasn't really an explanation as to how they faked his death so good. Him being alive again has just always bothered me. Ron Carlivati brought him back, and it was like he didn't even know a good way to make it believable that this child was back, and actually just skipped the scene altogether of Helena explaining how she did it to Luke. So it was like a shaking my damn head moment watching that at the time. Yeah, I don't know what else to say. Other than that, it was a good week on General Hospital. Let me know what you guys thought of General Hospital last week. I hope you enjoyed General Hospital this week, and I will catch you guys next Sunday.